main reason that I'm doing this is so that all of our students who then become our future professional members, which is about 95 to 90% of the students becoming professional members, are going to have successful, fulfilling, long-term careers. Our mission statement is ensuring sustainable prosperity of the sports nutrition profession, and that is exactly what we're all about. This video is about things to consider before you look at enrolling and studying certificate with us. I say this as a member of a professional body fully invested in our members' long-term success because we see far too often people enrolling based on when it's financially and timely good for them, but not considering these other things when they are intending to practice in the future, putting themselves in a far more uncomfortable situation in the long term. What I mean by this is the example of the uni student waiting until they're in third or fourth year, final year of their degree, thinking, all right, I'm going to go into private practice and hopefully in the next 6 months I'll be able to build my clients up, when really what they need is 2 to 3 years of practice. And so they're in hot water 12 and 18 months later, resulting in them putting themselves in a far more financially stressful situation than if they had enrolled 6 to 12 months earlier and then allowed themselves the necessary time to build up and establish themselves as a professional. And we often see this with uni students doing this in third and final year when they could have been enrolling in first and second year and graduating with a full book of clients. Now, the traditional way that most people approach it is basing the decision purely on time and money. And that's not to say that this won't lead to success. It just oftentimes also causes a lot of unnecessary stress, pressure, and financial hardship for people looking to transition into practicing and making this a career for themselves. In what is really heavily predominant client-generated centric industry that is all about service provision, meaning that if you're not generating clients, you're not working. So what I'm going to do today is show you a different approach that will lead to far less stress and a far more effective and efficient transition into your study and career aspirations within this industry. Before I get into any more of this, be sure that if you find any of this valuable to like, subscribe, share it to your friends, and give us a comment below telling us how it helped you. So who am I and why am I doing this video? Well, I'm the president and founder of the Sports Nutrition Association. And I'm not doing it to sell courses. We actually have sold out our last 3.5 years, or over the last 3.5 years worth of the certificate courses that we've run. And we get close to 3,500, 4,000 inquiries for really 350 to 400 at this point in time, based on our current staff and assessment team size. We can only take on 350 to 400 students a year. The main reason that I'm doing this is so that all of our students who then become our future professional members, which is about 95 to 90% of the students becoming professional members, are going to have successful, fulfilling, long-term careers. Our mission statement is ensuring sustainable prosperity of the sports nutrition profession, and that is exactly what we're all about. Meaning that we want people to be able to have fulfillment professionally, financially, and with access to lifestyle freedoms that are seldomly seen in other industries or careers. Now, let's have a look at the traditional approach that people have for enrolling. Time and money. Now, there's nothing wrong with basing your decision on enrolling or when to study on time and money, especially if your intention is only to learn for personal reasons, okay? If your intention is to only learn for personal reasons and you have absolutely zero intention to practice professionally in any capacity in the future, then stick with that approach. That is completely okay and cool. And for 5 to 10% of people that enroll and study with us, that's why they do it, and we fully support that. The other 90 to 95% of the students who come and study with us do intend to practice in some capacity in the future, whether it be full-time, which is 40 to 50% of our students and professional members, part-time, which is 25 to 30%, or casually, which is 20 to 25% of the member base. Now, the part-time and casuals is what we like to call the ultimate side gig within the association, because we believe it is a fantastic way to approach your career. And you don't have to be full-time to be getting all the benefits of this profession. Now, if you are intending to practice in one of those 3 modalities in the future, then the factors you need to be basing your decision on primarily are when you intend to be practicing by and the time that it takes to get set up and be practicing in that capacity within the industry. The following recommendations and timeframes that I'm going to be providing are based on the last 5 years of data collection that we have as a professional body with both our students and professional member data combined. For most full-time professionals, we recommend at least a minimum of 12 months before you get up and running until you're at capacity, with a robust service offering within an established client base. For aspiring casuals and part-time professionals, we recommend a minimum of 3 and 6 months respectively of consistent application of the business, service, and coaching aspects covered in the program as a recommendation. Another thing to consider is what the predicted ROI or return on investment is for the course fees that you can be making back as a student practitioner during the time within the course. And then factoring in what that looks like and then when that ROI or return on investment should be occurring. These three primary factors should carry the weight of up to 70 to 75% of the decision-making criteria that you are going to be making the decision on for when you are looking at enrolling. The final 25 to 30% will then come from time availability and budget. So what does all this mean and what are the takeaway points from all of this? Well, for every one of you intending to practice, it's going to take longer than a lot of you are expecting. So you need to be looking at starting earlier. For uni students, ideally our recommendation is starting in first and second year. And if you're struggling with your study load, our recommendation to offset this is drop a subject or two, go to part-time for that semester, get this in place and get it completed so that way you can resume your full-time study load and then be working in the trenches from the get-go, building your clientele up. The other benefit that you get is because you're working in it, you're now earning in the industry that you're studying, all of your uni fees now become tax deductible. People looking at doing this part-time as an ultimate side gig or just casually as an ultimate side gig, start planning now. It is going to take you 6 months of study to then get completed and then another 6 to 9 months before you are fully established, depending on how much time and availability you have as you are scaling back. If you're scaling back from a full-time workload, it may take you study time to practicing time included 15 to 18 months to get there. If you have a full workload, if you're transitioning pretty quickly, it may not be as long. But that's what you need to be considering. The FitPro already providing this service, you needed to be enrolling yesterday and getting registered and accredited and insured. So you need to be doing it ASAP. And for someone studying purely for personal interest reasons with no intention of practicing professionally in the future whatsoever, that is completely cool. 5 to 10% of all of our student enrollments come from people like yourself. So base it on time and money. That's completely cool. Now, what are some other realities worth considering when it comes to the industry? We're actually going to be creating a video specifically on this to then provide you with more insights into what the career opportunities look like and how diversified it is. And this would be ranging from working with professional sporting teams through to private practice in a clinical setting, through to private practice in a general population setting, into running multiple companies. So stay tuned for that. We'll be creating a video on that within the coming months.